Hi, welcome to HorizonHobby.com. I'm Jim Booker. Today we're going to talk about a new airplane from Hobbyzone. And now this is an airplane for people that have, just thought maybe they'd like to learn to fly radio control. This is going to help them do that. They may even be able to learn to fly themselves without help with this airplane. In the recent past, a lot of people got started with the Hobbyzone Super Cub, and I think you'll see that at just about any flying field where you go to fly an airplane. I've got Eric Johnson with me today. Now, Eric is the category manager at Hobbyzone, and Eric's brought this new Champ in, and this is a very, very cute little airplane, but I think it has a lot of features that especially new pilots would be interested to hear about. So, Eric, thank you very much for coming by and bringing the Champ. This is the first opportunity I've really had to look at it, but I'm sure our viewers are going to be kind of excited to see this thing too. So, tell us about the Champ. This is very cool.
Well, thanks, Jim. First of all, it's a Zone 1, teach yourself to fly airplane, like Jim alluded to earlier. Just like all of our Zone 1, teach yourself to fly airplanes, with Hobbyzone, everything comes in the box you need. So whether it be the transmitter you see, of course, the charger, of course the airplane's assembled, the flight battery, even the AA batteries that are required to fit into the transmitter and the charger are included. So it's a one-box purchase. It's easy for the consumer. They don't need to buy anything additional unless they want to buy additional battery packs. But along with a very detailed instruction manual, it's a big help to get somebody up in the sky and to have success on the first flight.
Well, now you mentioned the box, and I see you brought the box too, but this is exciting too because it's a relatively small airplane, but you've got a carry box here.
Yeah, the great thing about this box is not only do we feel it looks great on the shelf, but also it's a perfect place. You can see it's got a handle to carry it with you. You want to store it back inside the box. An airplane like this is much more likely to be damaged in handling than it is to be flown because it's a very lightweight airplane, so there's not much inertia or mass that's built up if it does happen to hit the ground. But when people are maybe not careful when they handle it or when they store it at home, it's always safest to be back in the box. And so we designed the box to be used not only as a nice little carrying case, but also to be stored in, which keeps the airplane nice.
Yeah, I know from, when the airplane's in the back of the car or something and you're traveling to the flying field, because we're always going to the flying field, something could roll around and damage the airplane, whereas the box would protect that. So I think that's a very important thing. The recent ultra-micro airplanes have similar boxes. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks are used to it, especially those that are into the ultra-micros, but somebody new like this may not fully understand that this is a great way to keep it safe. And a great way to take it out. Now, you had mentioned a flying field, of course, and there'll be some people on a calm day that'll be out there flying these, but the great thing about this is that this is meant to be flown in a large backyard or a very small park.
So you don't have to go to a flying field.
Well, we were very proud years ago to be able to, basically take flying to the larger soccer park or, industrial park or whatever, and that was a big breakthrough from where it was years ago when you always had to go to a flying field. But now we're able to get it even to a smaller location so it can appeal to even a larger group of people. So, I know from where I live, I can simply walk one block and there's a big parking lot or a little park, and it's too small to be flown even a large one of our Super Cubs, but this thing is right at home there. So basically somebody has a large park or a small park or a large backyard or front yard, a cul-de-sac maybe right out in front of their house. This is perfect.
That's very cool. Let's talk about some of the features of this airplane. Now, it comes with a 2.4 gigahertz radio.
It does.
Is this a DSM-2 radio?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Also, the flight battery, that looks like the little bit larger one. It's a single cell battery, though.
Single cell, 150 milliamp battery pack. So you'll get plenty of 6, 7, 8 minute flights easily, depending on how much you're on throttle. When you're learning, you tend to be on half throttle or maybe a little bit less. You'll probably get even more flight time than that. The airplane it's foam. You can see the nice ribs here that are molded in on the wings to make it look very scale. Nice paint scheme. Of course, typical tail dragger design with the fixed main and the steerable tail wheel, which makes it very nice. People are learning to taxi. Yeah, one of the big things people want to learn. Sometimes it may be helpful, and it's hard. But before you even get up in the air, just steer it around a little bit on the ground to understand what rudder's like.
It's hard to not jump in the air.
Sure.
But yeah, well, it's got cute little fat tires on it. pretty typical of, you know, the full size of Runka
Sure,
Champ.
right.
And a very scale-like trim scheme. But so you have specifically designed this as an entry-level model for people that would like to get started in radio control. Is it, you know, I know what happens. We are flying out there, but we run into the ground once in a while. Is it durable enough to survive those kind of incursions?
You know, Jim, it actually is very durable. Since it's only a little bit more than an ounce, like we said earlier, that there's just not a lot of inertia that's built up with a model like this. You know, a lot of people will be flying this over grass, which actually even helps protect it even more. So, you know, it is very durable, and that's why it can be a Zone 1 Teach Yourself to Fly airplane, because it will not be damaged very easily. We've got all kinds of tips and hints and so forth on the web, also in the instruction manual that comes with it, that will help you. If you do happen to have a mishap and need to replace something, then every part is available. You
that was going to be the next
yeah.
question I had,
Yeah.
is replacement parts being available, because for a beginner that's very, very important.
Sure. So, you know, we've got some hints in there and stuff like that. We also have a nice little video that shows you get into trouble, you just let go of both sticks. It kind of shows the airplane coming and descending very nice, and makes a nice soft landing. So for the beginner, we always tell people two things. Make sure you've got plenty of room and no wind on first flights. You know, something small like this, the benefit, of course, is it's very durable because there's just not much weight buildup. The downside, if there is one, is that you can't be flying this in 15-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah. It's just not a lot of fun. But on the nice, you know, calm mornings, early evenings, as we enter into the summer flying season, when it tends to have late afternoon and early mornings tends to be, for the most part, very little wind, it's perfectly appropriate to fly in. But if you can do those two things, follow the instruction manual, most people, we feel, can have success on their first couple flights. 3 channels, so you know that the consumer does not have to, even though it's got molded aileron panel lines, this particular model is 3-channel, which is very important for a beginner. The one thing they really don't need is roll control. They may think they do, but tends to get them in a little bit of trouble. This gives you a nice ability to still have plenty of yaw and pitch control, and of course you've got your throttle. So those are your 3 channels. You've got your rudder, you've got your elevator, and you've got throttle. But you don't have ailerons, which could get a newbie in a little bit easier trouble quicker. We find that all the time. So this gives them the good basics of understanding and still not too much control where they can still have a lot of fun. We want to have people have fun with hobbies. We want them to have success on their first several flights. We don't want them to buy something that perhaps could get them in trouble and become frustrated. We want them to master this, and then they're ready to move on to one of our 4 channels.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really powerful point. I know it's for the beginner, but I'd be willing to bet you a lot of more advanced guys are going to buy it just because this is fun to fly in the backyard.
No question.
Airplanes are airplanes, man.
I just had a guy stop me on the way down the hall, said, "Hey, when are we going to get these in?" And he's a modeler. He wants to have one because he's seen us fly them and he knows how great they fly. And so even though it's maybe not the intended target, people, they can't avoid it. They want it.
Yeah, well, like in my backyard, you got to have an airplane like this to fly while the glue's drying on the project in the basement. You know, so.
There you go.
Well, Eric, this is great. I think this is going to just be a big hit with a lot of people, and it offers an opportunity for people to learn to fly, get engaged with the hobby, which is what we want them to do, because you know, that's what it's all about, is just having fun with this hobby. We appreciate our viewers taking a look at this new Champ from Hobbyzone. I think you're going to like this airplane when you see it out there at the flying field or in somebody's backyard. But you know, check in and take a close look at it as soon as you get a chance. Thanks for viewing HorizonHobby.com.